According to Russia, air defense shot down 9 Ukrainian missiles over the Belgorod region. The Russian Ministry of Defense announced on Saturday that its air defense has shot down all 9 missiles fired over its western Belgorod region by Ukraine. Since the start of Russia's special military campaign in February 2022, Belgorod, which borders the Kharkiv region of Ukraine, has frequently come under fire. Almost never does Ukraine officially accept blame for assaults inside of Russia. Slovaks began casting their ballots on Saturday in a parliamentary election that was hotly contested by pro-Western liberals and former Communist Prime Minister Robert Fico, who has vowed to stop military assistance to the neighboring Ukraine. Final polls showed a tie between the two parties, with the victor anticipated to have the first opportunity to try to form a government to replace the caretaker government in charge of the 5.5 million-person nation since May. With a Fico-led administration, Slovakia would join Hungary in questioning the EU's position on supporting Ukraine at a time when the bloc is trying to maintain its unity in response to Russia's invasion. Along with Poland's nationalist peace, which also faces elections next month but is still pro-Ukrainian, it would also join a coalition of Eastern ex-communist countries whose administrations openly oppose liberalism. A progressive Slovensko (PS) administration would maintain the status quo in terms of foreign policy, maintaining Slovakia's steadfast support for Ukraine and positioning the nation in the EU's liberal and pro-integration camp on issues like majority voting to make the bloc more flexible, green policies, and LGBT rights. Because neither Fico's SMERSSD, Direction Slovak Social Democracy, nor the PS, led by Vice Chairman of the European Parliament Michael Semeka, are predicted to win a majority, the composition of the next government will likely depend on the performance of more than a dozen smaller parties, ranging from libertarians to far-right extremists. On Saturday, Slovakia will have an early election for its parliament, pitting the populist former Prime Minister Robert Fico, who ran on a clear pro-Russia and anti-American platform, against a liberal newcomer who supports the West. If Fico's bid to retake office is successful, he and his socialist Smer, or Direction, party have threatened to end Slovakia's military assistance to the neighboring Ukraine in Russia's war. The vote in Slovakia is a crucial test that might change the country's direction away from Kiev and towards Moscow, endangering the frail unity of the European Union and NATO. According to The Telegraph, the Defense Secretary has announced that British troops will be sent to Ukraine for the first time to provide Zelensky's men with on-the-ground training. According to Grant Shapps, who spoke to The Telegraph, I was talking today about eventually bringing the training closer and even into Ukraine. I believe the chance now is to bring more items in-country, particularly in the west of the country. This includes more than just training. For instance, BAE, the UK defence contractor, is moving into manufacturing locally. I'm keen to see other British companies do their bit as well by doing the same thing. So I think there will be a move to get more training and production in the country. He also said the British Navy could offer advice and even intervene in the Black Sea. We've seen in the last month or so, developments, really the first since 2014 in the Black Sea, in Crimea, and Britain is a naval nation, so we can help and we can advise, particularly since the water is international water. It's important that we don't allow a situation to establish by default that somehow international shipping isn't allowed in that water. So I think there's a lot of places where Britain can help advise. I did discuss it with President Zelensky and many others this week, he told The Telegraph. As he met with the head of the Defense Alliance in Kiev, President Volodymyr Zelensky declared that it was only a matter of time before Ukraine joined NATO formally. Despite Russia's threat, Kiev has pressed for membership in NATO. On Thursday, Jens Stoltenberg, the Secretary-General of NATO, reaffirmed that Ukraine would join the transatlantic military alliance. He declared that the group would support Kiev for however long it took. A day after Moscow accused Ukraine's allies of aiding in the preparation and execution of last week's missile attack on the Black Sea Fleet's command center in the annexation of Crimea, Mr. Stoltenberg met with the wartime president of Ukraine in Kiev to discuss the state of the ongoing Russian war.